Bow, bow, bow. What's up, everybody? You are tuned into the Elks Call, your home for Edmonton Elks fan talk. My name is Scout, aka the rep from Section X.
And I'm Catherine.
Coming to you live on Shotgun Sports Network with the replay airing exclusively on Edmonton Sports Talk. Catherine, welcome back to the show. The Elks are 6-1. What the heck? You left and they won some more.
I wasn't gone for long, so it's okay. But yeah, well, it's good to be back. This is weird. I don't know if I like this necessarily, but it's being in separate rooms and separate webcams, and we gotta make do, right?
It is definitely weird. Unfortunately, as we know, we have been displaced from our studios. Shotgun Sports Network Studios is under construction right now. Hoping to be back there in a couple of episodes. We'll see how that goes. But for today, you are here rocking with the Elks Herd. We're very, very thrilled. Have an awesome episode up ahead. We can't thank you enough for joining us. Please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and favorite buttons, all that good stuff, as that is how you show some love over here at Shotgun Sports. All right, let's just get into the schedule here. It is as follows. We're going to open up with The More You Didn't Know, where we chat with our guest. Next, we're going to give you Kathy's Herd Report, where we talk about the latest game, news, transactions, everything from Double E Land. After that, we're going to give you an Edmonton sports update, and then we're going to play a game called Green or Gold, our take on hot or not. And then finally, we're going to cap this episode with the fan forum. We got a juicy topic today, so make sure you stick around until the end of the show. We are interactive, which means herd chat, blow it up, get your comments and questions into the herd chat, and we will bring them up onto the show. We already see the herd chat buzzing. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Let's just get into it. Mm-hmm. Let's get this show rolling with The More You Didn't Know, where we talk to our special guest. Today's segment, this segment is brought to you by Royal Retros, title sponsor of the show. If you like throwbacks, you're going to love Royal Retros. They have that throwback retro CFL-inspired jerseys, CFLPA merchandise, even a little Football Canada merchandise. Go check them out over at royalretros.com. Always thankful to have them rocking with the herd. But without further ado, please welcome to the show Edmonton Elks play-by-play announcer with 880 Ched and big diehard fan. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Morley Scott. Thanks for joining us, Morley. Really, really thrilled. Gotta ask, have you ever seen a summer like this in Edmonton? Exactly. Yeah, and I mean, it's one of those things, too, where we wonder who hasn't been flooded at this point. I think that's what you had mentioned before.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. We just got a comment that they can't hear Morley, and I can see that it is muted, but I can hear it. I'm not sure.
Saying no sound. That's interesting.
I'm not sure if that's coming from us because we can hear you. So let's. Oh.
Game Day Baby does say all good now. That is Ken in the herd chat does say we're good now. So yeah, herd chat. This is part of it. This is part of going live. Let us know if you can hear us all now. You can hear Morley. We do have one confirmation that we're good. So, and of course, this is going to be a really big interview. So we want to make sure we can hear you. Mm-hmm. Alrighty. We are very, very excited to have you on the show. Everybody in the herd chat, please be sure to get your comments and questions in there because we would like to get those brought up onto the show. But for question number 1, you like to know our guest. So we do have to ask, where did your passion for sports come from? Like, how did this path start? Oh, Morley, we lost you.
Nope. Let's take. No.
We've now lost you, Morley. We have lost you somehow.
How about now?
Okay.
Oh, I can hear
I
you.
hear you. I hear you.
I can hear
Let me try
you.
this.
Nope.
All right.
All right.
You got me now?
I think that's good.
I think that's good. Her chat, let us know.
These computers will never catch on, I tell you.
It's not the same, right? It's not good old radio.
To answer the question, I've wanted to do this pretty much ever since I can remember. I was a kid, and I used to have a contest with a buddy I grew up with, and when I was living in Toronto when I was a kid, and our goal was to beat the other guy, to phone him after school to tell him about the news of the day in sports, because it was whoever got their newspaper delivered first would win the contest. So I always wanted to be this, to do this for a living. At first, I thought it might be newspapers, but it ended up being in radio, and it's been a great career, and I just have loved every minute of it and continue to love every minute of it.
Well, and we know that your career started over 40 years ago on CJSR covering the U of A Golden Bears. What can you tell us about your CJSR days?
Wow, that's a long time ago. I never went to the U of A, by the way. I was just kind of a stowaway. I did not take classes there, but I was living with the same buddy who I talked about earlier when I was growing up in Toronto. He had moved to Edmonton, and we were roommates in Edmonton, and he was going to the U of A, and he brought home a Gateway one day newspaper, and it had an advertisement in it for volunteers at CJSR. And I went to the volunteer meeting. Next thing I know, I was reading sports on CJSR. Then I became the sports director, and I did Golden Bear hockey. I did a little Golden Bear football and a little Golden Bear basketball as well. So yeah, it was that's where it all began at CJSR.
Well-rounded then.
Yeah, I like to think so. I've done a lot of things. I've done everything from hockey, basketball, football. I did a demolition derby once for pay-per-view many years ago. And I've never done any baseball, which is I love baseball announcers and the stories they get to tell. But I've tried to get my toe in every lake possible.
I mean, you're a very energetic guy, so it would be interesting to hear you now on baseball, kind of knowing how you like to call your games.
Yeah, I'd kind of go against the grain for baseball announcers, I think, a bit.
What would you say is your favorite?
I love doing football now because first off, the people. I love the people in football. I love the players. And the thing I love about football players is they come from so many different walks of life and so many areas across North America, and now with global players around the world, that they all have great stories. They all have a great story to tell, and I love hearing those stories. I love telling those stories, and it's just I just have learned to really appreciate the game and the way it's played and how it's. You know, the phrase is the ultimate team sport, right? How everyone has to work together. And one thing I really enjoy about it is the crescendo to game day. It kind of starts slow and builds through the practice week, and then game day hits, which is, game day's the best day, right? And we just enjoy ourselves throughout the day. It's great. So yeah, I've really come to love calling football, and really respect the people who are in the game.
And if anybody does want to hear the stories that Morley Scott is talking about, that's the Antler Up podcast. You just filmed a new episode today, I believe.
Yeah, we just taped a new episode today with TJ Luther. That'll be coming out next week. There'll be an episode coming out on Friday. We usually come out the day before the game, so stay tuned for that. It's a fun podcast to do because I like to get into into, the journey that guys had from, starting playing football in Pop Warner or wherever, and how they got to the colleges they got to. And a lot of them, like with TJ today, we talked about his NFL journey, and he was with 5 NFL teams in a year and a half, and, kept getting rejected and then signed again, and rejected and then signed again. And it's, he persevered through it all, and he's happy where he is now. So, I love the stories that these guys have to tell.
And we do have a comment here in the herd chat from Bearpaw Chris. That's Chris Agar. What up? The Elks this week is a favorite listen of mine. Such a good way to get to know the players beyond the game. I want to say that's on Tuesdays, Morley.
That's on Mondays at 7:30. It'll be on Tuesday after Labor Day, and if the Mondays, it'll be Monday, I guess, next week, because Tuesday the next week, because the Monday's the holiday day coming up. But yeah, it's a good show. We like to recap what's gone on in the week, and we talk to Mark Killam on that show every week as well. So yeah, we just kind of like to get people up to date on what's going on.
It's great. I'm a big 880 Chad guy. I do have an old antique CFL helmet radio that I listen to you guys on. So it's a great.
Hey, and you were even on the show this week, so that was great.
It's very, very interesting. It's a crossover week of all sorts, so I love it. But kind of talking about crossover, let's talk about your Oilers days. You did cover the Edmonton Oilers for over a decade, 16 years to be exact. When you made it to the NHL level, was it like a I made it moment, or how did you feel?
It was more of a scared to death moment, especially to my first game. My first game was a preseason game. I think it was against the Pittsburgh Penguins, actually, which is weird for a preseason game. But yeah, I remember doing it. And I remember at one point in the first period, we're halfway through the first period, and I had done the period and half of the period, and then I said a comment, and Rod Phillips, who was just absolutely legendary, he gives me a pat on the back and gives me a thumbs up and starts talking. So I thought, okay, I guess I'm doing okay. So it was a great experience. I did 16 years. Got to do some play-by-play on the pay-per-views as well when they did the pay-per-views back in the day. Got to meet some great people, and it's a tough grind, the hockey world. You're on the road sometimes for 2 weeks, and you're playing 3 games in 4 nights and stuff like that. But it was a lot of fun. Really enjoyed it, and it was good to be around.
Now, do you miss being an Oilers guy, like a hockey guy, as your main staple?
Not anymore. I think I did at first. I always kind of called myself a hockey guy doing football for a while, but I feel I'm a football guy now after 16 years. I'm doing the Elks. So I do miss a few things about hockey. I miss the pace of a hockey game. The big save at one end, and then the rush up the ice at the other end, and the back and forth. In football, the quarterback calls for the ball and the play's over in 8 seconds, right? And then you reload and do it again. So they both have their different uniquenesses about them. But there's some things I miss about hockey. But there's, if I went back and went the other way, there'd be things I'd miss about football as well.
Oh, I'm sure. And I mean, you've been covering the Elks for quite a while. 6:30, now 8:80 Chad. And you've seen your fair of share highs and lows. What would you say is your favorite moment throughout the years?
Well, the Grey Cup in 2015 is obviously a great moment, but the funny thing about that, we didn't broadcast that game because it's a national broadcast, so we don't get to call the game. So it was really weird to be sitting in the press box in Winnipeg and just kind of watching the game and taking notes. But the thing was, we did a pregame show and a postgame show that night, and Dave Campbell, my partner on broadcast, we weren't allowed to broadcast from the stadium, so he went back to the hotel to start the post-game show. He left in the fourth quarter, and I got to do something I don't ever get to do doing Elks games. I got to go down post-game to the dressing room, and I got to be in the dressing room while the players were celebrating, and I got to interview the players while they're holding the Grey Cup and having beer and champagne poured on them. And like, we don't go to the dressing room post-game. We do everything via headsets from down there, and we stay up in the booth. So that was the uniqueness I got out of not broadcasting that game. As far as broadcasting goes, the 2015 Western Final was an unbelievable experience. The crowd that day was just fantastic, and beating the dreaded Calgary Stampeders, and I still remember a few calls that I had that I liked, and a few moments in that game that was really good. And it was Mike Riley at his finest, right, in that game. So that's one of the memories. And to be honest, last Thursday night in Regina is going to be a great memory too, because that game was just fantastic, just so entertaining, so much going on, such a back and forth game with so many lead changes, and the last 5 minutes was incredible. It had everything in it. So that game, if I were to pick out some other games, I would probably pick out the win over Ottawa that ended the home losing streak. That was pretty cool. And the previous walk-off when Dean Faithful hit on the Labor Day rematch to win that game, those are a few of the games that stand out for me.
Oh, too good. I mean, I talk about 2015 Western Final on this show enough, and of course the legendary Michael Riley.
Quite often, I would say he talks about it quite often. I don't think we can go a single month without him mentioning
and
it. So.
I was lucky enough in 2015, thanks to Ed Hervey and Len Rhodes, to get one of these. So I mean, we get that. They were kind enough to give Dave and myself a Grey Cup ring. So that's one of my favorite bits of memorabilia that I have, and I would always thank General Manager Ed Hervey and the President at the time, Len Rhodes, for putting me on the list to get one of those.
Yeah, with organizations, it's a weird thing, right? You don't know exactly how close you are, especially when you're, technically with the radio station, right?
Yeah, we're in kind of a funny position because we don't work for the Elks, but we kind of work for the Elks, right? Where our station and the Elks, we have a business agreement and we work together to produce the broadcasts and to help them sell tickets and promote them. And I spend probably as much time with Elks employees during the football season that I do with Ched employees. So yeah, it's a weird situation, and I'm forever thankful that Ed Hervey and Len Rhodes were able to as I say, put Dave and I on the list to get one of those.
Do you ever put it on sometimes?
Once in a while I do. I'll tell you a funny story. In 2016, we were going to Winnipeg for the first time since they won the Grey Cup there in 2015. And I thought, it'd be pretty cool to wear my Grey Cup ring to Winnipeg, back to the stadium where they won the game. So I put it on, and I'm about to leave for the airport, and I'm going out through my garage door, and I turn the handle on my door, and the ring scrapes against the side of the door frame. And I looked at it and go, oh my gosh. And I look at it and there was no damage on the ring. And I went back upstairs, put it in the box, and then went to the airport and didn't take it with me. And it hasn't been out of the house ever, I don't think.
So that's a bad sign right there.
Never again. We'll stay in the box forever.
Oh, exactly. I do want to bring up a fan question here from the Herd Chat. And by the way, Herd Chat, keep them coming because we do want to get your questions onto the show here. Question from Jamie Fadoum. What up, Jamie? What is Morley's favorite stadium on the road?
I probably look at the atmosphere-wise, it's Winnipeg and Saskatchewan for sure. And I kind of look at it differently too, as in broadcast positions and table room that we have and where our monitor is, which is always very important. And if I put it all together, I think Winnipeg and BC are a couple of my favorites. Toronto's good, except for it's a very, very small booth. Dave and I look like those two guys on the Muppets up in the balcony, right? And we're squished together in the booth, but it's great sight lines. We got a monitor right there, and it's really good. I hate going to Hamilton. The stadium is beautiful in Hamilton, but we're inside the 10-yard line and way up high, and the windows don't open, so it's really not a great atmosphere for us to do games in. So I don't like games in Hamilton. Montreal's weird because it's pretty good sightlines. Again, we're down at one end of the stadium, but the weird thing is they got a building to our right, and the building juts out, and we can't see the scoreboard. We can't sit down in distance, and we can't see the scoreboard. They have it across the field on setup as well, but they don't have the down and distance over there. So I have to either take that off the TV monitor beside us or off the yard markers too. So every stadium has, for broadcasters, it has its little good points and bad points. But for flat out atmosphere, probably Winnipeg is the best place to go. Saskatchewan a close second, and it's even better when you win those games, and they've done that in both places this year. So it's been fun.
So good. And how about we talk about it? We know that the Edmonton Elks have found recent success, right? But it hasn't been like that for 5 years previous, right? Can you tell our viewers and listeners what it's been like to work through the last 5 years as play-by-play, a broadcaster covering this team so closely?
I'll tell you what, it's been tough. It's been tough. Since coming out of COVID in 2021, like they won 3 games, then they won, 2 years with 4 games, got it up to 7, right? So it's been difficult. I really feel for the fans of this franchise because they've been put through a lot, right? And it was kind of the perfect storm with not just teams that don't win, but they didn't win at home. COVID hits. They missed a year. They made some changes at the stadium that the fans didn't like. Throw the name change in there that a lot of people still don't like. And it's been a tough 5 years. So I'm so happy for everybody right now that's getting a chance to have fun at the games and know that every game, they're not going to win every game, right? They're 6-1 now. They're not going to end up 17-1, right? But going into every game, they got a chance to win. And it's going to be entertaining, and that's I'm more happy for the fans than the players, really, because the players, most of them are new, right? They haven't gone through it, and they don't know what everybody's gone through here in the last 5 or 6 years. So it's been 2019 last playoff appearance is a long time ago, and I'm looking forward to. Hey, they almost got a playoff spot clinched right now, the way things are going, but I'm looking forward to calling a playoff game this year, which will be exciting for sure. Especially more so if it's at Play Alberta Field at Commonwealth.
That'd be great. A little home playoff game. I think that we would really like that here in the city of Edmonton.
Haven't had one of those since 2015, right? So
yeah, that's crazy to think about that. Yeah, it has been since 2015 since we've seen.
Even though a couple of those years since 2015, they've gone to the conference final, but it was the Eastern Conference final, so they were playing on the road in those games. So yeah, it's been a long time, and Elks fans deserve it for sure.
Totally.
So in your opinion, why do you think the Elks are so successful right now?
They're finding ways to win. They're playing well at the right time in most games. They're getting the plays they need. They're a clutch team right now. They're doing things the right way. I think it all started last year with the reorg last year from top to bottom, right? When Chris Morris, Ed Hervey, and then Mark Killam came in, they were set and they had a plan, and they're moving forward with the plan. And even though they didn't have a great year last year and had a bad start, they stuck with the plan. The defense last year, let's be honest, wasn't very good at the start of the year. It was giving up, 30, 35 points every game, but they became better. They got the system down. JC Sherritt became a better defensive coordinator as the season went along, and the defense came together last year. Now that defense, except for a guy or two, is in place to start this year, and they're the best defense in the Canadian Football League right now. So I believe what we're seeing this year all started at the tail end, especially of last year when they started to turn things around. And don't sell Cody Fajardo short and the impact he's had. I have so much. I didn't disrespect Cody Fajardo before, but I have so much more respect for him now because I'd seen him play, and he played a few games against the Elks over the years. But getting a chance to see him on a day in, day out basis at practice and the work he puts in, and talking to him most days at practice and hearing what he says about the game and about his teammates and about what has to get done, and watching him play every game, he's a treat. And I've said this before. I believe he might be the most underrated quarterback in CFL history for what he's accomplished and what people say about him.
Unreal. And I mean, at this point, we have to admit that Cody Fajardo is more than a game manager. He sure was a gunslinger this last game.
Oh, man, 430 plus, 4 big plays, 30 yards or more downfield. He gets some help from the feet of the receivers sometimes, but that's the game plan, right? Yeah, and I mean, that's kind of Saskatchewan's defense. They take away the underneath and the short passes, so Cody said, okay, let's go deep. And he went deep, and he went deep a lot, and he was successful with it. Yeah, and that's what I love about this team. They can find ways to win, whether, if it's the run game, they go with the run game. If it's the run game's not working, they go with the pass game. If they need the defense to come up, they need the defense to come up big. It does. They need the offense to score 36 points. They do. They need a 57-yard walk-off field goal. They get it. They've won in the rain. They've won in the sun. They've won in the afternoon. They won in the evening. They've won at home. They've won on the road. They're doing everything right now, and let's just hope they can keep it going.
and so different from these past few years where they're on the opposite end of these games. They're finding ways to lose those games. Now we're, like a 57-yard field goal to finish up that last game. Like, that must have felt amazing calling that one.
Oh, it was outstanding. It was wonderful to call that. Yeah, and that's his longest attempt. I think the longest attempt before that was 54 yards. He'd hit a 52-yarder. He'd hit a 50-yarder, he just nailed it. I mean, that would have been good from 70 yards, I think, right? Because it bounced at the back of the end zone. So yeah, it was a pretty fun night. It's funny. My boss at Ched said to me, he said he's been around since just after COVID or during COVID, I guess, and he said, I've been listening to games for 5 years, and that was the most happiness I'd heard coming from you and Dave on the radio on Thursday night. So it was a lot of fun for sure. And we kind of joke with Blake Dermott. He came up with the phrase. We joke with him a lot in the pregame and the postgame, and it's a simple phrase, but winning is fun, and winning is more fun than losing, and it's absolutely true.
Well, I've heard it. I've heard it from Blake, and you guys are a great combo over there. You guys have a great team, right? So, yeah, and I mean, you guys also deserve to enjoy this as well. It's not just about the fans. Hearing the many ways that the Edmonton Elks have lost over the years, it's so nice to hear you calling those plays, you calling these games, and even in the tailgate, the vibes are better in the tailgate now. You guys are having more fun before the game as well. So you're absolutely right. Like, I mean, winning just makes everything better, right? It's the number one ingredient you need in pro sports. I was talking with Cordell Jackson yesterday, and I was asking him about the buzz around town, and he said it's there and it's more positive. He said in his first 2 years with the team, he'd be out and go, "You play for the Elks? Oh, that's cool." And now he says, "Now I go out and people say, you play for the Elks? That's awesome. You guys are going great right now. Keep it up." So there's definitely a big vibe, even on social media, and I know there's a lot of hype from a lot of people on social media now about, getting tickets and coming to the game on Saturday, which has been great. But there's just a total different feeling around the team right now in every aspect. There's more smiles at practice. There's more fun in the press box. It's just a better vibe, and everybody around here deserves it, I think. Absolutely love it, man. It's great. It's great. We're all eating it up together here.
Oh, yes.
Eating it up together here on the Elks Call with Morley Scott. I would like to bring up, because I don't want to lose our fan questions here. I would like to bring up a couple of fan questions. Big one here from Chris is, Morley, would you please share the origin story for Let's Light This Rocket?
When I started in 2010, I wanted to get something to start the game. I wanted to think of, and I had a couple of phrases, and I can't even remember what the other ones were. And I think I used "Let's Light This Rocket" on the third or fourth game, and I said it, and I thought that feels right. That's what I'm going to go with. So I stuck with that. I think it was the third or fourth game that I used that. I wanted to find something. I'm kind of, if you've listened to me enough, you probably know I'm a bit of a catchphrase guy. I like my phrases, and I like to use them, when they're applicable. And that just stuck. I liked it when I used it, and I said, that's it. I found it.
It's like taking pies out of ovens.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know where that came from. Sometimes I think I got a little Rod Phillips in me after working with him for so long. He would often say, "I don't even know why I said that," right? But it was legendary, right? And I don't know how that came about, but it came about probably about 10 years ago or so. And I don't use it as often as people say or people think, which I guess is good. I use it. I only use it when the Elks score the first touchdown of the game. If it's not the first touchdown of the game, I don't use it. But yeah, it's just something that I said one day, and it's stuck.
Oh, I love it. Taking the first pie out of the oven. Speaking of Rod Phillips, we do have a question from Amanda in the Herd Chat. What up, Amanda? As an Oilers fan, what was it like working with Rod Phillips?
Phenomenal. He's a gem. I love him to death. He taught me so much over the years. I was a snot-nosed kid who joined broadcast, and he didn't know what he had in me, and I didn't know what I was in for. And I think we turned out to be a pretty good team for 16 years and did a pretty good job. I love Rod, and I try to emulate a few things that Rod does. He calls the game. It's like you're just sitting in a bar talking hockey, right? And and you're talking hockey with Rod, and maybe he's looking at the TV, calling the game from the bar. I don't know, but it's just is down home, ever relates to everybody, and I try to use that style a little bit. And his excitement level was off the charts, and that's maybe what stuck with me more than anything. You kind of talked earlier about my style. It wouldn't be good for baseball, which is true. I believe I got some of that from Rod, or a lot of that from Rod. And the best part about it was not only the games, but I got to hang out with him every day, right? We went for supper on the road. We sat together at practices every day. He showed me around a lot of cities in North America, taught me about some pretty nice restaurants, and showed me around all the rinks. And I will forever be grateful to what Rod Phillips did for me when I came on board to do hockey games with him back in, what was it, 1992 or 93. So yeah, it was I love him to death.
So cool. I know you guys are up in the media wall at Rogers Place. Yourself and Rod are up there amongst many other legends. So it's so cool to see how he's kind of rubbed off on you in that sense. And I mean, hey, now you're your own man, right? So just absolutely love it, man. Now, we do have a couple more questions here in the herd chat. I think we're going to mostly focus on these, and then we'll let you go, because, I mean, I have like 5 or 6 of my own, but that just tells me that we need to have you on at another date.
Come back anytime. Yeah.
Appreciate it. Now, question is from Paige in the herd chat. What a Paige. Morley, favorite Elks player or team personality over the years?
Easy. Michael Riley, just a tremendous guy to talk to. Cody Fajardo rivals him, but I had a real good relationship with Michael. I enjoyed him, and his mom and dad, talked to them a lot when they were in town. Still keep in contact with his dad a lot. We text every now and then as well. But yeah, Michael Riley to me is the perfect pro athlete. He wins you games. He sells you tickets. He's good in the community. He's good on the microphone, and everybody loves him. I mean, he's the real deal more than anything. And it was really tough when he left. It was hard on me because we had a real good relationship, like I said. And one of my best memories with Michael, I'll go back to that first game back in Winnipeg after they won the Grey Cup. We had a thing. It was mostly him. He wanted, when we do our pregame interview, he always wanted to sit in a Kubota somewhere. So, and he went out of his way to find a Kubota to sit in. And we're in Winnipeg, and there's a Kubota at the other end of the field. We're in where the Elks dressing room is, Eskimos at the time, and the Bombers are at the other end, and there's a Kubota at the other end. And they said, let's go down there. So we virtually walked, the end zones plus 110 yards. And as we're walking down the field, he's telling me about the Grey Cup game. I wish I had the microphone rolling because it was fantastic. And he says, we're walking like right down the middle of the field. And he's like, this is where I hit a Darius for that one pass. This is where this happened. This is where that happened. And then he said, and then I hit Kenny Stafford for the pass over there. And he just went on and just told stories. And it was just a fantastic, it was a 110-yard walk that I'll never forget with Michael Riley. And then we sat in the Kubota and did the interview. But he by far is my favorite Elk Eskimo player over the years. So love to Darius Bowman as well. Great conversations with him over the years as well. And there's some good guys in this team. And again, Cody Fajardo comes to mind. I really enjoyed talking with him and doing my interviews with Cody.
That's amazing. Yeah, I couldn't imagine getting to relive it all, especially from, the photographic memory of yourself and Michael Riley piecing it all together.
Wake up MVP retelling me the story about the game. Yeah, it was fantastic.
That's once in a lifetime, man. I couldn't imagine. All right, I will hit up here in the herd chat. We do have one more question to bring you from Darren Popovich. What up, Darren? Best food, what stadium, Morley?
Oh, that's a good question. The media meals aren't what they used to be. A lot of places now they're box lunches, which is fine. Winnipeg still has a pretty good meal though, which it costs $10, but that's not that bad, right? For a good meal. I the best food for me is at the tailgate in Edmonton. I always head to a couple of booths and grab something somewhere, and really enjoy that as well. So it's I'm a food guy, so there's not much food I don't like. There's not many stadiums where they give me food that I don't enjoy and don't eat. Montreal's pretty good too. A lot of times they'll have the smoked meat sandwiches or the poutine in the press box, which is always great. We were there on Thanksgiving Day a couple of years in a row, and both those years they set up massive turkey meal, big turkey dinner with the mashed potatoes, the dressing, everything. So that was pretty good too.
Big turkey leg and all that.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not a turkey leg guy. I'm a white meat guy, but there were turkey legs there to be had for sure.
The players usually like those turkey legs pretty good. So, all right, one question for me, and then Catherine's going to take it away with the last one. Would you consider play-by-play duties for any other team in the CFL? And of course, this is under the most extreme circumstances, right? If you had to go elsewhere, would you?
Hey, it's what I do, right? If I want to work for a living, I probably would, but I'm not planning to go anywhere. And hopefully those people that employ me aren't planning for me to go anywhere either. So yeah, it's that's an interesting question because it's like I said, it's what I do, right? I love the game prep. I love game day. I love calling the games, and it's what you do. So if you got to work somewhere else, sometimes you got to work somewhere else. Hey, players go to all sorts of different teams too. So it's not any different from the broadcasters. And there's been a few who have moved around to a couple of teams over the years as well. So yeah, I probably would. I wouldn't want to, but I probably would.
Well, we hope that's not the case for any time soon. So we hope that we'll see you around for a long, long time. But just to close it off, we do have one last question. What advice do you have for those considering a career in TV or radio broadcasting?
Run. It's a tough business now. I'm lucky I'm at this end of my career, and I'm often thankful. We got a lot of young guys around our place, and I'm thankful I'm not at the start of my career like they are, because it's a tough business. It's an ever-changing business. I mean, I've been doing it since the 80s, and the changes in technology are absolutely incredible, like in any business, right? But I think especially in our business. But if you really have the passion for it, it's just work. Just do whatever you're asked to do. And we got a couple of kids around our station, and they won't say no to anything, and that's the way to go. It's just like football. You got to get your reps in on the air or producing or whatever it is you do. And my advice would be, there's not many small stations to go to anymore. Like I started at the CJSR and then worked in St. Paul, Alberta, and then worked in Prince Albert, Saskatchewan, and then ended up coming to Edmonton after that. There's those little stations, they don't really hire people anymore, right? So it's hard to get in, but just hang around, go make friends, make contacts, and work for free if you have to at the start. Then just make your mark and get your foot in the door somehow. And the best way to be successful, at least on the radio side of it right now, is don't say no. If somebody wants you to do something, do it, and do it like you need to do it the best it's ever been done. So that's my advice.
Love it. Yeah, don't ever turn down an opportunity, especially media opportunities.
You never know when another one's coming, right? So take the one in front of you.
Love it. Where can we find you online, my friend?
I am at on the Twitex at Morley_Scott. Instagram is the same. You probably won't get me on Facebook because that's mostly just friends and family. I got a rule on Facebook: I won't be your friend unless I've had a meal with you or been to your house or you've been to my house. So I don't do much on Facebook. You can hear me every morning on 880 Ched on This Morning with Stacey Brotzel doing sports and helping Stacey out with the show broadcasts. Pre-game show, an hour and a half before every game, post-game show for about an hour after every game, the games itself, and check out Antler Up as well, wherever you get your podcasts. Some of the episodes are up at 880 Ched YouTube page as well. So I think
Antler Up. It's amazing. Love listening to it. Smith TM14 in the herd chat does say, I use "Let's Light This Rocket" to fire up the machines at work as an homage to Morley. So that's the kind of impact that you hear. We'll hit the applause button. The kind of impact that you have here in the city of Edmonton on Edmonton Elks fans. Super thankful not only to have you here on the show tonight, but thankful to have you as one of two official voices for the Edmonton Elks. Dave Campbell, obviously, we're going to have him on the show as well this season. But for tonight, my friend, we cannot thank you enough for joining us and spending your time with us. This was an awesome conversation. We always appreciate getting a chat in with you, whether on or off air. And you and Dave, can't wait to hear that pre and post coming up this weekend on 880 Ched. So thank you so much, Morley.
Yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate you guys and the work you do as well. So it's great. I've enjoyed the podcast as well. So keep up the good work for sure. Thank you. Elks fans are great fans. They're a passionate group, and I love telling stories to them and bringing them as much information as I can. CFL fans are fantastic fans. So it's been a great ride for me. I hope it's not going to end anytime soon. And go Elks.
Go Elks. Can't thank you enough. Once again, you're at the heart of it. So couldn't be more thankful to have you. We'll let you continue onward. Hope you have yourself an awesome night, Morley.
Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate it. Anytime you need me, just give me a shout.
Appreciate it, man. We will.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
And that was Morley Scott from 880 Ched. Awesome guy. Awesome guy. That was absolutely amazing.
I feel like there were so many other questions from everybody and ourselves as well, so we'll definitely have to have him back.
Yeah, I mean, I had something like 3 or 4 or 5 more questions, so yeah, I definitely could have asked a lot more, but you will get to hear Morley Scott. That's pregame, an hour and a half before the Edmonton Elks game. Obviously, if you're tailgating, you can throw it on your radio, and then the post game as well. Very, very good stuff. So he's been doing it for a hot minute. Some of the most energy in terms of radio action for the Edmonton Elks. And yeah, I mean, antler up as well. Mm-hmm. Our friend Chris does say hello, chat. Hit that thumb. Chris, thank you so much. Smash the thumbs up for the Elks Call. If you enjoyed that chat with Morley Scott, definitely get it in. Yeah, really, really good. I'm still thinking about it, but we do have a lot of show to go here. Once again, this what's that?
I said, yeah.
Yeah. It's so weird that we're not side by side. I don't like this. Once again, this is the Elks Call. You're rocking with the Elks Herd on Shotgun Sports. Next up, we do have Kathy's Herd Report, where we talk about the latest game news, transactions, everything Double E from Double E Land. This Herd Report is brought to you by MVP Meal Prep Company. If you're looking for delicious, clean, and convenient eats that cater to your busy lifestyle, head on over to mvpmealprep.com. Christina and the gang has hooked up our viewers and listeners with a 20% off discount over at MVP Meal Prep. So that's going to be using code ELKSHERD20, all caps, no spaces, ELKSHERD20 at the checkout over at mvpmealprep.com. And a little spoiler, I have a feeling Christina's going to be joining us on the show in the coming weeks. So, but let's move it back in time. Catherine, let's talk about this last game.
Let's do it. I apologize for that. I did have to let Vera, our dog, outside of this room because she was whining. I apologize, Scout, if you need to let her out to go pee.
We'll figure it out. Well, maybe I'll do that now while you go through some of the Herd Report.
Let's do it. Well, let's start talking about... No, you know what? I'll wait for you.
You're going to ad-lib?
Yeah. Or just... That's the... whenever we have a completely different setup, the animals seem to just absolutely not know what to do with themselves, and she was whining pretty hard. So I apologize for that, but he was fast. She's good. We can continue. But yeah, let's talk about this game. What a game. Woo! What a start. What a game in general. As Morley said, they just find ways to win.
Insane.
to start, we had one of the nicest, calmest, most collective drives that I probably have seen. Right after kickoff, short passes, some rushes to move the chains, a nice 23-yard pass to Larry Orange, a very nice 16-yard touchdown pass to Larry Orange as well to cap it off. It was, I didn't even know what I was watching. I was like, what happened? It doesn't even feel like the stress and the excitement of a touchdown. It just happened, and it seems so calm. But that was probably the most calm moment of the entire game.
The entire game, yeah.
The entire game, especially after Saskatchewan was able to return the ball for 70 yards in the following drive.
Yeah.
The Elks did get lucky, though. As they did a lot in this game. I did see a comment by Chris that there were a lot of facepalm moments in this game. We saw that a lot. But Saskatchewan did have a penalty that prevented Saskatchewan from flipping the field. But it unfortunately did not stop a 56-yard touchdown pass from Harris. That quarter, though, Tyrell Ford, he had himself a really good stop. He prevented a deep pass that would have caused a lot more trouble, that's for sure. Going into the second quarter, I will say that the Elks cleaned it up big time in the penalty department.
Yeah, which is a huge turnaround from the beginning of the season when we thought that we may be running into some permanent penalty issues with this team.
Yeah, I mean, there was that roughing the passer one right as the second quarter started that resulted in Saskatchewan opening up the quarter with a touchdown. But that was okay, though, because Fajardo, he connected on a 68-yard bomb to Keon Julian Grant, flipping the field and injecting life into this offense, which is what they needed.
And what about Keon Julian Grant? Multiple weeks. It feels like multiple weeks in a row making a solid impact with the hands.
Yeah. Yeah, he was definitely, holding on to that ball, which is what we like to see every single time. Yep. And we were lacking to see a little bit from Mac, but he also turned it around later on in the game. So that was also good to see. Shortly after, Leak also, he scored on a 12-yard catch and run. So that was good.
Over the middle.
Yeah.
Short really, pass, over the middle.
I mean, the question that we have all been asking ourselves at some point is, at what point does the offensive coordinator recognizes that rushes through the middle are just not working?
Yeah. Well, and it seems like we saw more of that in this game. Once again, I don't think that the rushing calls were that creative, right? It was still a lot of right up the middle. Rankin,
but we saw it a lot with Rankin. Yeah, that's
yeah. And quite frankly, it's still an area of improvement for the Double E.
Yeah. He had some gains, but you could see that he was either playing very conservatively or he just couldn't get through and he wasn't getting very far with it. And they should have definitely made some adjustments there.
Well, there were also issues in regards to ball security with Justin Rankin. So I also wonder, too, if he was playing a little bit more conservative himself to not let the ball go.
Yeah, that could have been it. But either way, Fajardo got them close enough for a field goal on a third and two, at the Saskatchewan 31. Better to get some points on the board than risking it, I guess. Once again, that still didn't stop Saskatchewan from scoring once more before the half ended. Boo. Unfortunate, but that's what happens.
But guess what? With that score, that field goal that they had made with the final score of this game, guess what? It did matter.
Well, it didn't feel like it. We were talking about it because we were like, oh, are they going to go for it? Are they going to go for it? Yeah. And they decided to go for a field goal instead. And that's one thing that we always say whenever we see that situation is better to have points on the board than having something go wrong. And once again, it definitely mattered. Going into the third quarter, the Elks came to play. They certainly did. Defense prevented Saskatchewan from scoring altogether, and offense had some pretty good moments in there. We had a nice interception by number 97, Gavin Meyer. Stopped a drive in Edmonton territory, followed by a 37-yard pass to TJ Luther that flipped the field position. Unfortunately, short passes, a sack for a loss of 7 yards, and a holding penalty forced Edmonton to go for a field goal instead. But then one of Edmonton's most electric moments of the game, I'll call it that, 57-yard touchdown strike to Austin Mack on a perfectly timed deep shot from Fajardo. And that was following a 21-yard pass from TJ Luther that cut into Saskatchewan's lead. It's
so good.
It was so good. We need
And
to
that's where things really started to roll. Like, that's the beginning of the shootout. I remember after this third quarter, I had posted on the Elks Herd, I had posted, I think we might be in for a quarterback shootout here, just based on what we were seeing.
Well, yeah, Saskatchewan finished the quarter deep in Edmonton territory. So we knew that it was going to be a fight. We were going into the fourth quarter, and it was going to be a fight. Things got really stressful after that. As expected, Saskatchewan opened the fourth quarter with a touchdown. But Fajardo, he answered in kind with a massive 81-yard play to Austin Mack, resulting in a touchdown. It's a crazy play. It was wild.
Would like to bring up this comment while we're here. Candor 27777 does say Luther and Mack had breakout games, hoping the passing game can keep up the momentum. And I mean, that's what we needed to see from Austin Mack. Austin Mack is one of your most expensive wide receivers on the team. Needed to see him break out. TJ Luther, just short of a rookie there. Needed to see him do something too, right?
Yeah. Well, at this point, you got to see everybody do something. It's whenever you don't see anything happening that we have a lot of issues in every single game. So it's like what you like to call it a three-phase win. Everybody has to put in their 2 cents, right? Right after that, they tried for a 2-point conversion, but unfortunately missed. Followed with a few struggles from the double E. We had an illegal kickoff penalty that brought Saskatchewan to midfield, followed by a fumble by Jovan Leak on the return after a punt. Thankfully, he recovered it, but it was still at a loss of 2 yards at the Edmonton 11.
Totally.
So short passes again, a sack, forcing them to punt. Saskatchewan scoring on a field goal. That O-line snapping prematurely, leading to Fajardo fumbling the ball for a loss of 6 yards and giving the ball away. That was one of those.
Like what are we doing? Yeah, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Right. But once again, they got very lucky. A Saskatchewan touchdown was called back after a Saskatchewan pass interference penalty.
Got lucky big time on that one.
Got lucky. Trevor Harris was sacked for a loss of 7 yards, and they missed the field goal. Like, think about all those things that if we hadn't gotten lucky on those, this would have been a completely different game.
Good teams find a way to win.
We'll take the luck, but also take the notes.
Yeah.
And obviously, there's still things to do if, they could have had a chance of at least 7 extra points, or at least 3 if that field goal hadn't been missed. So Edmonton turned over the ball on downs. Saskatchewan got a field goal in, and we all thought that was it. That's where we were like, oh, that's game. That's game.
But then they still had, around a minute to go, right?
Around there, yeah. I was fully prepared to accept a loss, though. I was fully prepared. I was like, you know what? That was a good game. That was a good way to lose. I'm not going to get mad about this one. But I was not prepared for the drive that ended the game. Fajardo slowly moved the ball, passed some incomplete passes, a sack in there. 3rd and 6 at the Saskatchewan 50. And the Elks decided to go for a field goal. So
awesome.
I couldn't watch. I was sitting there with a pillow on my face, just like not being able to watch.
I think I had in those moments I had said "F you" to the cat, to our cat.
You got really mad at the cat. Well, you get mad. He was just.
I was full of adrenaline and amped up, and then Vincent Blanchard. It's 3rd down. They still have some time to go, and you see Vincent Blanchard march out, and I look over at you. I'm like, oh my God, they're going for it. They're going for it. And the ball is backed up 57 yards away from the goalposts.
Pillow on my face because I couldn't watch. I'm sitting there stressing. I'm just like, just let me know. Just let me know what happens. And sure enough, 57-yard walkout field goal.
He booted it It was straight. He booted it. It was straight. The first thing I yelled was, "Oh my God, it's straight." And you could tell by Jake Julian and Vincent Blanchard that they already knew they had it.
Yeah.
They already knew once that sucker was in the air.
It's like Morley said. I mean, it went way past what would have been 70 yards.
70. It could have been a 70. I mean,
Yeah,
even a conservative what if would be 62.
Yeah.
That thing flew.
Yeah, and brought the score to 36-34. Woo! What a game.
Oh,
what a game.
Like crazy.
Okay, of course. So now talking about the good, of course, Vincent Blanchard is just, the most clutch play ever in the history of ever. That has to be a highlight. And of course, Cody Fajardo as well. I mean, we're looking at 510 yards, 25 out of 32 attempts, right? 4 touchdowns.
Insane. It's a performance for the ages. And if you've listened to the Elks Call long enough by now, you know that I've used the term game manager. And at this point, I'm not going to say I feel bad about it because I do think that for the most part, Cody Fajardo is. But in that game, he was a gunslinger. In that game, that was a vintage performance. He enters the record books along the likes of Michael Riley. Everybody drink. Couldn't say that with Morley on, but everybody drink. And then, of course, Warren Moon as well. We're talking about an all-time performance from Cody Fajardo. It was a quarterback shootout in the fourth quarter. We all witnessed it, and this is the most exciting football we've seen in a while. Also, would like to bring up what Steve Benassi says here in the Herd Chat. What up, Steve? Just like the old number 26 Dave Cutler winning field goals at Clark Stadium. Well, I mean, you have Vincent Blanchard up there with the Dave Cutlers and the Sean Flemings in the record books. That was one of the longest. That was, I believe, the 5th longest field goal ever made by a double E.
It's crazy to see. And I mean, I think every single face of this team definitely had something to do. Defense, they played their asses off on the third quarter, made sure that Saskatchewan didn't get anywhere with that. Even special teams did their part. So that's what we see. I mean, even if it's a little bit of luck, it takes all 3 faces to win a game. On the bad side, I mean, Leak for sure had himself a little bit of a rough game. Cordell Jackson as well. I think play calling, I would say it's still a little bit of an issue.
Yeah, and I mean, there was a comment here, I want to say, which one is it? I thought I had it here. But yeah, no, basically the issue is still, predictable play calling at times, but do something more with Justin Rankin. You need to have him in the game, right? Darren does ask here, do the Riders play tight to the line again, or do they play off and keep things in front of them? The D-back play on both sides, both defensive backfields, the secondaries. They struggled. I mean, they were blown out on either end. It seemed like certain players could not catch up to the play. Cordell Jackson did have 7 tackles in this game. It's not like Cordell Jackson did nothing, and Cordell Jackson is usually on point. But in this game, it looked like he got blown by quite a few times. I mean, what are you going to do, right? This was also the type of game that we were watching. But just like Steve says here, 2 years ago, Double E was finding new ways to lose. This year, we're finding new ways to win, just like we had mentioned with Morley Scott. So, I mean, it's a new era of Double E football. We all get to play witness to it, enjoy these wins. Who knows if the Edmonton Elks are still going to have 1 loss on the board or if they're going to have 6 wins still after this weekend. So each win, eat it up, enjoy it. You're watching a Grey Cup contending team.
Well, I remember that interview with Mark Killam, and he said every single game is a new game. We're not thinking about the previous wins. We're not thinking about previous losses. every game that we go into is a new win that we have to get, right?
And want to know every week. Want to know every week, right?
Yeah, that's exactly it. So I think that's the way that you got to see it, especially with the injuries that we're seeing. Right, it's a little crazy right now. We did have Nick Anderson returning today. He had full participation. The same thing as Carter O'Donnell, Jacob Plemondon, and Tyron Reed.
Ready.
He also had limited participation, but
Carter O'Donnell, though, that's the Carter O'Donnell return. I would love to see that, and it does sound like Nick Anderson will either be ready or he's very, very close to ready. But I mean, Carter O'Donnell getting health back into the offensive line, that's going to be paramount going into this game. The problem, too, though, is that Samuel Amelis seems like he might be healthy for this one for Saskatchewan. So just like the Edmonton Elks are getting healthy, Saskatchewan is as well.
Yeah. And I mean, we still have quite a few names in the 6-game injury list, right? Yeah. So the likes of Brandon Barlow, David Beard, Brett Boyko, Tiva Maga Clements, Brock Mogensen, Coulter Woodmansey, Jordan Williams, Joseph Rostelli, Benjamin Samoa, Darren Newell, right? So still a big list. So we gotta play to our advantages and make sure it happens. But
get Justin Rankin involved. Open up that defense a bit. Let's see some more Gunslinger Cody in action.
Yeah. For transactions, we did see a couple of transactions. National offensive lineman Arvin Hosseini was signed, as well as American linebacker Jaden Pearson was released, actually. So sorry, it was just one signing and one release.
Right. And when they signed that offensive lineman, I did get concerned because I'm like, who's hurting now? Which offensive lineman are we losing now?
Don't want to see that. But yeah, that brings us on. What's next? The prehistoric party on Saturday, August 1st at 5 p.m. Saskatchewan Rough Riders. What was that? Kansas Saskatchewan Rough Riders. What is it? What are the activations? I know there's a couple. Is it the Purelator?
Purelator Tackle Hunger is this Saturday, so that's going to be a big one. Also, prehistoric party, right? So I believe at halftime, I want to say they're going to be racing the dinosaurs again, or at some point during the game, they will be racing dinosaurs. I want to say there's a lot more that the Edmonton Elks, though, are doing with this prehistoric party.
Yeah, they changed their website a little bit, and I used to be able to click on the game and it would give me the details, but now it just takes me to tickets.
Well, what's really cool is if you actually just Google it, you get it a lot faster and you don't have to search through there. So this is what the website is saying. Prehistoric Party is crashing Commonwealth, and we're not talking about small footprints. That sounds like it's made for the Elks Call, that promo. On Saturday, August 1st, we're packing the house for a night where the energy is roaring, the vibes are colossal, and the Elks football takes center stage. Expect big smiles, lively game day chaos, and a whole lot of prehistoric party spirit stomping through Commonwealth Stadium. So it does say here, that's literally all it says here. So that's a bit interesting, I think.
There you go.
It does say here is the official timeline, which is very, very similar to every other game. 9 a.m. until the end of the game. Team store will be open. The Elks tailgate will be 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. The beer gardens will also be 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Kids zone, 3 p.m. to halftime. And then, of course, gates open for Commonwealth Stadium for this Edmonton Elks versus Saskatchewan Rough Riders game. The gates will open at 4 o'clock. So
there you go.
That is what we're seeing here. But, I mean, from what I know, there's going to be maybe some dinosaurs roaming about. I think people are going to be encouraged to wear their own dinosaur costumes and to dinosaurs.
Good. I always have a blast with that one. It's always so funny to watch. So
totally.
What's your take? What's your prediction on this one?
Well, first of all, I like what Candor says here, hoping we can pack the stadium enough to open the upper level for the first time in a while. I would actually say the upper bowl most likely won't for this game, but the Edmonton Elks are marching towards that. I did get to speak to Jessica Ng over at CBC Radio today. Her and Ken, awesome stuff. And, the upper bowl is going to open soon. As far as this game, I'm expecting 30,000 people at Commonwealth Stadium. I expect that lower bowl to be packed. T-Rex from Section X. Oh my God, Pierre, we have to give you a round of applause for that one. Unfortunately, there might be a T-Rex in Section X. It just won't be me, but I love it. What am I expecting? I'm expecting a really, really good game. I'm expecting a good turnout, especially in Section X, because that is kind of that opposition zone. So I think we're going to see a lot of Riders fans in the building.
Yeah.
But I'm expecting a back and forth affair. I expect, one quarter is going to be a little bit lax. I think that, we're going to see our typical quarter of, field position. But I think that both teams are going into this game with a chip on their shoulder, even though the Edmonton Elks are right now. Mark Killam has said, I believe, on Edmonton Sports Talk, he did say that the team's coming in. The Edmonton Elks are still going into this game with a chip on their shoulder. Cody Fajardo is still disrespected in this league. And Elks are still disrespected in this league. Let's be real, everybody. The Edmonton Elks are Grey Cup contenders. You can say that. You can say they're 6-1. Like Morley Scott said earlier, I don't know if he was on air when he said it, but this team has already basically clinched a playoff spot. They're that close, right? They do still need to win, but as far as this one directly in front of them, I'm expecting a battle, like a 31-30. I'm thinking like a 31-30 score. That's what I'm thinking.
That's close. Another stressful one.
I think Saskatchewan's going to be fighting for their lives. And somebody did mention that Saskatchewan is likely without AJ Ouellette. I don't think AJ Ouellette makes a massive difference in this game, because look at the last game. Did either running back actually make much of a difference? I think AJ Ouellette had 30, 40 rushing yards?
Yeah, he had some good ones, but he was also the Justin Rankin of Saskatchewan.
Right.
Like the Elks defense really had an idea of where he was going, and they were able to stop him quite a few times quite well. So I think you're right. I don't think, as much as he's a fantastic player, when it comes to a game like this, I don't think that really matters, when the entire team and the performance of the entire team is what matters.
Totally. I agree with that. Steve Benassi, it'll be nice for all the Riders fans we usually see at the Double E games to actually have a Rider team to cheer for on the turf. Yes, because we see way too many of those jerseys without the Riders actually playing. I agree. Charlie Defoe does say, I heard, what up, Charlie? He does say, I heard the Elks will open the upper bowl. We'll see.
We'll see.
Maybe not.
Well, people got to buy tickets for that to happen. So
the upper bowl will open at least once this year for the CDMFA crowd. So Capital District Minor Football will be coming to Commonwealth Stadium for a game at some point. And like I just mentioned, they will be opening the upper bowl for them. That means that usually everybody goes up to the upper bowl anyways, just because they noticed it's open, and people love to get that old bang back. But yeah, it's going to be an exciting one. I think that this is going to be the biggest game of the year. Right now, ticket sales, I said 23,000 earlier over on CBC Radio 1 Radioactive. That number is actually 24,000 tickets sold already. And Chris Morris has stated on Edmonton Sports Talk that, we every day that passes, it's usually around 1,000 to 1,500 tickets sold. That's the kind of volume they're moving right now at the Elks office, at the Elks team store. So I want to see that 30K. I want to see everybody loud.
We have said it time and time and again. Winning will bring the crowds.
Winning fixes everything. Don't want to hear it about a name. It's Edmonton Elks Call. It's Double E. It's greener and gold, not green or gold. We're going to play that in a bit, but it's green and gold. It's what did we call it back in the day? We called it Eskimos football. This is Elks football now. And it is the exact same product that we've seen, not the exact same, but it's a very, very similar product to what we've seen back.
It's a winning product.
It's a winning product. Get on down to Commonwealth Stadium. Tell a friend. tell a friend, refer a friend, do whatever you got to do your part to get more people into this building. I know I know that's all that I've been talking about at work lately. It's crazy. One of the craziest media weeks too. Like, I mean, I do go on the radio channels, like Morley Scott said. I was actually on Elks this week somehow this past week. He was over on the Elks Call, so it's a really cool crossover. But Stacey Brotzel, I did get to speak to her about the Post Malone stuff. Sure. It was one day that, the next day, let's talk about double E success. So there's a hype around this city right now, and you have an opportunity to be a part of it. As we know, right? Our fans here in Edmonton, they're already crushing it, but tell a friend, bring a friend. Let's go. All right. Well, my fantasy is that the Upper Bowl opens, but let's talk about fantasy football real quick. Let's quickly talk about the players that I like. What's your fantasy? This is What's your fantasy?
I might take a little break over here.
I will do now because I'm going to rip through this quick. All right. On weekly fantasy, I do like the Edmonton Elks defense. I think that the defense is still going to do some great things. I think that we're going to see interceptions. I think we're going to see sacks. At least one interception. I don't think we're going to see a crazy amount, but hey, I would love that. I'm not going to say no. Cody Fajardo, I have him as × captain. I think that that's probably one of the smarter moves you can make in terms of quarterback performance. He just threw for over 500. If you had him as your captain last week, you probably won your fantasy week. But as far as this week, I'm going to take him again. I'm going to take him with the × captain. Travis Lees at RB1 from Montreal. I like him. Tyreek McAllister at RB2. He's cheap. It's a no-brainer selection for me. Aiden Eberhardt. I like Aiden Eberhardt. I'm very high on this guy. I like him at wide receiver 1 this week. Wide receiver 2, Dejon Brissett, mostly because I just want to fill out that spot with somebody that's a little bit cheaper. And Austin Mack with the flex. I like Austin Mack in at the flex position. I think that Austin Mack is going to have himself another good game. He has momentum. He's been crushing it week in, week out. So getting a lot better through these last couple of weeks. I'm going to select him. Start Salter for BC. I would say no. I don't like that pick, Pierre. I think it's a great ask. I know what you're going for here. Probably a really cheap quarterback. I want to say 2,500 or something like that, right? Whatever his price may be on the weekly fantasy. It's his very first game. I think that he's going to go through some fits. I don't know if he's necessarily better than Chase Bryce. So I would say avoid Salter and really avoid BC Lions players this week. Avoid BC Lions, in my opinion.
Just in general.
Elks to take this week, though, Cody Fajardo, Austin Mack, take the D. And if you are looking for a cheaper option, maybe try Luther, TJ Luther. He's due for some touchdowns. I think TJ Luther is really due for touchdowns. He's had great performance. He gets up there in the wide receiver chart. He gets right up there. Thing is that touchdowns usually, are a little bit more than, say, just gaining yards. So I do like TJ Luther. I think he's very intriguing. Elks to avoid this week. I think Josh Cephas, he might get left in the dust this week. And Javon Leake. I don't know if this is going to be a good week for Javon Leake. We haven't necessarily seen him get that return game that we're looking for. Hey, maybe it does happen at Commonwealth Stadium this weekend. I'd love it. Justin Rankin. I think Justin Rankin is a really, really curious one this week because Saskatchewan has figured out how to stop him. So do I necessarily feel good at banking on Justin Rankin this week? I don't. I think if anything, we're maybe going to look ahead in the schedule to play Justin Rankin. So maybe
unless they can get funky with him.
Unless it can get funky. I like the way you put that, funky. But other players I do like this week in season-long fantasy, I like Tyreek McAllister. He's coming off of a great performance. I like Vernon Adams Jr. at QB1, even though I don't like the stamps. Thesa running back, no-brainer. Eberhardt, I do like Eberhardt. He is a steady choice, and he is up there. I want to say 88 points on the season so far. And I like Taysom Philpott this week. I think Tyson Philpott can make a positive impact. So those are the players that I'm looking at. Travis Thies, Montreal running back, yes. Travis Thies, he did pull off a decent performance last week. I think he's got a lot more gas in the tank. I think he can make a bigger impact this week. Alrighty. I guess now it is time, after What's Your Fantasy, it is time for an Edmonton Sports Update. This Edmonton Sports Update is brought to you by Herties. I knew it was you, Fredo. Swing on by Stall 182 for some pasta that you don't need to be scared of. Chicken Alfredo coming to the Herties menu this Saturday, 2 hours before the Elks game. Fredo, I knew it was you all along. Great line from The Godfather, Part 2. The Edmonton Elks are currently 6-1 with a home game at Commonwealth Stadium Saturday night as they welcome the Saskatchewan Roughriders to town for their second head-to-head matchup of the season. Tailgate starts at 3 p.m. Kickoff is at 5 p.m. Mountain. The 9-13 Edmonton Stingers will host the 10-11 Saskatoon Mamba at the Edmonton Expo Center on Friday night. The Stingers trying to hold on to playoff hopes. Tip-off is at 7 p.m. Mountain. The Edmonton Riverhawks have broken another attendance record with over 140,000 fans flocking to Remax Field this season despite dismal results on the field. We are the Elks Herd. You're up to date. Shout out to the viewers. Shout out to the listeners. Shout out you. Shout out you. This is the Elks Call. You're rocking with the Elks Herd. Make sure you hit the thumbs up. Smash the thumbs up. Like, subscribe, favorite, all that good stuff. Greatly appreciate you guys all being here with us tonight. Wouldn't want to be anywhere else. I know that, well, maybe just inside of our studio.
Yeah, this still feels weird. I don't like it.
It's kind of weird because it does kind of feel natural because I've done so many other shows with our with our network at Shotgun Sports. I'm used to doing the remote thing, but as far as you and I miss like looking over, or I'd look over. Hey, Cass.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't like it. And you get the camera, the good camera with the good light.
And you're fighting not looking like a ghost face over there.
Yeah. Like, I don't know what to do here. I should open the window or something.
I know what we're going to do. We're going to play a game. We're going to play a game called Green or Gold, which is our take on hot or not. Green or Gold is brought to you by Lather, LATHR.com. That's Lather. Smell damn good with Canadian-made soaps and more. The Elks Call is happy to have Lather on the roster. If you want to save 20% off your order, use code SHOTGUN20, all caps, no spaces. Smell damn good with Lather. Save damn money with the Elks Call. Exclusive for our listeners and viewers. That's SHOTGUN20 at the checkout at LATHR.com. All right, green or gold, we're going to bring up a topic or item, and if you like it, you're going to vote gold. But if you don't like it, you're going to vote green. Herd chat, you know what to do. Let's blow it up. Get your comments, get your answers into the herd chat, and have your voice heard. All right, green or gold, first question. I mean, we try to do an easy one here. Prehistoric party theme. Is it a green? Is it a gold?
That's going to be a gold for me.
I can't do the echo for you.
You can't do it. It's going to be gold. Gold.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
I like the time.
That's always fun. It's always a good time. It's always funny to see. I don't think anything can ever go wrong with just watching a whole bunch of people dressed up like T-Rexes and just running around. So it's good.
It looks like you have some people agreeing with you here. Sue in the her chat. What up, Sue? I saw your comment earlier. I apologize for not saying hello earlier. Sue does say gold. We also have Game Day Baby What Up Ken Gold. We do also have Candor in here. Whoops. Well, Pierre also does say gold. And Candor also does say dinos are always gold. Darren, gold. Yeah, I mean,
Oh, don't be that guy.
listen, I think that with the limited amount of themes that we do have, I do like it. Is it necessarily like a big tie-in, let's say, with the city of Edmonton? I think it's more of a tie-in with Calgary with their dino theme. For the sake of relevance.
Do we have an Edmonton dinosaur? Or no, that's just Alberta.
Albertosaurus, yes, we do have a dinosaur.
That's the thing. Okay? It does tie it in to the city.
I'm gonna say green just because I think that it could be a better theme. I mean, I like it for the people, and I appreciate that people do like it. I also do notice friends such as Lincoln Ho of Yag Ventures. He does swing in with his dinosaur gear. He likes to celebrate this one, and I think it is good for kids as well. For me as an adult, I could do without it.
Oh my goodness. Have some fun. Like, unless, we do have one of our friends at the tailgate. She makes the delicious cupcakes that we see around.
Hello, Janelle.
Janelle, she is afraid of mascots. She has a fear of mascots. And I could see something like this being particularly difficult for her to get through when you see people in costumes everywhere. That I can understand agreeing. You just being a grumpy old man? No.
I'm not a grumpy old man, okay? I'm just saying that, as far as a theme night for me, doesn't tickle my fancy. Darren does say dinos. Oil, baby. I think oil comes from dinosaurs. Edmontosaurus.
Yeah, see, we have dinosaurs. Look at that. See, can't even make that argument.
Well, I said what I said. Second question here, and this is a big one for me. Game day programs, we're talking about the paper physical form game day programs. We did used to get the Edmonton Sun as our game day program. Let us know what you think, everybody. Game day programs, green or gold? And I'm just going to start this instantly with a gold. I absolutely love a good game day program. I collect a lot of the ones from the Edmonton Oilers when I go to an Oilers game. Whenever that may be, I do like to collect the program. Whenever we go to a game abroad, I like to collect the program. The Clark game, I collected the program. I love me a good game day program. I do not think it is a I do not think that it's something we should go without.
You even collect Winnipeg game day programs thanks to Jamie Fadoon that always hooks us up with
Shout out Jamie Fadoon. Shout out Jamie, because Lord knows I'm not going to be out there, and I have a little affinity for Princess Auto Stadium, the stadium formerly known as Investment. What do we got here? Oh, Catherine, before we move on to the herd check questions, what do you think?
Well, that's definitely a gold, but they don't do that. So that's a green. The fact that they don't do them. They did it for the preseason game, and I was even like, oh, look at this. And we kept it pristine, even in the big rainfall that we had. We made sure to put it in the bag to make sure that we would keep it and save it. And they don't do it. So the fact that they don't do it is a big green for me, but the fact that if they did, that would have been the gold.
I like it. Spitting truths over here. All right, let's go through these comments. Stephen Assey does say gold. Sue, gold. Game day, baby, gold. Candor, gold. Love game day programs. And then Pierre does say, I have a few CFL programs from the 1950s. Gold. I agree. And I mean, see, that's the thing, right? There's a collectible piece to it. Also, you hold on to those for a while and they become valuable, right? Pierre said, swag, baby. Like, I mean, it's not wrong. It is indeed. Everybody loves free stuff. Everybody loves swag. And I honestly feel bad that I did not keep my Edmonton Sun pregame promos. Like, I even remember being on call at a job not too long ago, but 5 years ago, or let's say 2019, right? And I'm on call, and I know there's a good chance I'm going to get a call, and I'm still grabbing that pregame program. And I tried to take it out with me when I leave the stadium because, hey, if I miss the rest of the game or whatever, at least I have a little memento and I can watch the rest of it at home, right? So, yeah, I mean, it just I remember them. I wish the Edmonton Sun and the Edmonton Elks still kind of had that partnership, and I really wish they'd make those. Who knows, right? New wins, new money. The Edmonton Elks might be coming out with programs.
Well, they have the programs. They do make them. They're just online, and you can find them online, which nobody does. Nobody does. But like when you think about it, it's not like anybody's really spending the time to make one. What they're already making them. All they have to do is print them.
But how do you bring people closer to your product?
Oh, 100%.
You're sitting there. The whole benefit of the game day program is so that you can sit there, look at the numbers, figure out where these guys are, where did they go to college. You get all of that information in a program, right? It connects the people to your product that much more. And 15 Eskimos, that's that's a piece to it, right? There's a reason why I used to pick these things up when I walked in the gate. It's not because I'm a horse, but
I mean, but look at Pierre, right? He has some from the 1950s that he can always go back to, and those are memories.
Totally.
Right? You can always have your little box of game day programs and be like, oh, do you remember this? Do you remember when this happened? Or anything like that. So that's history, that's memories. And I really hope that in the near future that the Edmonton Elks will be very successful, that they will decide to print some of these game day programs.
I hope so, right? I hope so. Alrighty, let's move on to our final segment of the show. This is the fan favorite called the Fan Forum. The Fan Forum is brought to you by the Argos Fancast. Join Clay and Sir Doug as they give you the latest from Argos land right here on Shotgun Sports Network. Obviously, we know that it's a different team, but give those guys some love anyways. It's a great show. In this segment, we're going to talk about the hottest topics surrounding the Edmonton Elks and the CFL as a whole. Herd chat for the last time tonight. You know what to do. Blow it up. Get your comments into the herd chat. We're going to get them onto the show. Make sure if you do have any fan forum questions, make sure you get them into the herd chat as well. We'd love to bring them up. This is an interactive show. You know how it goes. Alrighty. All right. Yeah, so we got a couple of we got two big questions here. The first one, this past weekend, let's talk about it. Post Malone show. Post Malone did come to town with his big-ass stadium tour part 2 with Jelly Roll and a Faith Carter. As we know, the concert did not go well on Saturday night due to bad weather. Safety has become a concern and questions about modernization have arisen once again. Do you think Commonwealth Stadium needs to be modernized, or do you think the risk is the same with any open-air stadium and concert? Now, what I'm going to do here, I would like to share. I'm going to share a screen of the modernization. And this is from the, of course, let's see if this will share. Okay, I think I can. Yeah, let's do it. So, Commonwealth Stadium modernization. As the news was broken by the Elks herd 2 years ago. Just would like to all of this here. Actually, it's hilarious. Lauren Boothby is the lady that I spoke to from City News earlier this week about the modernization, and she's the one who wrote this article. So
she's been following it for a couple of years now.
As originally broken by the Elks herd, and here we are. We're talking about it again 2 years later. But Commonwealth Stadium modernization, I apologize if you are listening to the show on audio. You cannot see it, but a big reason why I bring up this picture is because of these massive windows. So Commonwealth Stadium, what happened over this, Catherine, I know that you can attest to it, but this past weekend, we saw that rain and hail had actually come through where those windows are in the picture. So the concourse would have actually been, mostly filled in on the outsides, right? So the Nathan's comment, I don't like the color. Oh, Nathan, you're hilarious. Um,
I also don't like the color. I hope it's not accurate.
I don't think it's going to be that color. Just looking for other pictures, but that's okay. We're just going to go ahead and hide this anyway. So, yeah, I mean, Commonwealth Stadium, the rendering colors are really brutal, Nathan. I do like this comment. In terms of the windows, would the windows have protected people? The big question here is, do you think the stadium does need to be modernized? Or are we going to see this issue no matter what with Commonwealth Stadium? Do we just flat out need a new stadium? Where do we want to go with this?
All right, so you had a couple of questions here, so I'm just going to split it into two. One of them is, do you think the risk is the same as with any open air stadium? And no, it isn't. So even though there is some open spaces where the wind and the rain came through, now you got to think about this as being a one-of-a-kind storm. Right. We have been through many storms at Commonwealth during the games. We have been through many thunder delays or storm delays, weather delays because of thunder and storms, and we have never seen anything like that. This was a one-of-a-kind thing that took everybody by surprise. So we can't really say that the risk is the same as any open air stadiums. It was just the circumstances of this particular storm that made it feel as such. That being said, however, I do think that Commonwealth Stadium needs to be modernized in some ways. It needs upgrades. She's an old one. She's an old girl. She definitely needs to be updated in some ways, and maybe even adding glass in some of those areas where the wind and the rain came through would be something to think about, especially because we've had this conversation that if FIFA had been here, those plans would have gone through.
I believe
Commonwealth would have been modernized.
Well, we also do have to remember, right? It's a big price tag. Who's going to pay for it? We've talked about this on the Elks Call before. So apologize to anybody that does, think that this is a redundant topic, but we talked about it 2 years ago on the Elks Call on season 2. As far as, what we went through at the Post Malone show, first of all, it was a one-off storm. I've never seen an actual vortex like that inside of the bowl. I was really worried about a lot of the stage and some of the rigging components. I was really worried that those may come down at Commonwealth Stadium. I'm very, very thankful that they didn't. No casualties, but flags were falling outside. The flagpoles were falling and actually literally breaking in half. We did see trees cracking in half and falling down. If anybody had actually exited the stadium, they were in a worse shape than, say, inside of the stadium. Now, do I think that there is enough cover for an emergency such as that? Like, let's say if this was a tornado, people would have been whipped up out of the concourse. I mean, I let's not say will. Let's not use a definitive here, but there is maybe a chance that might have happened, right? Take a look at the what ifs on that whole scenario. It could have been a lot worse. You and I were fortunate because we got to shelter inside of a suite that Rich Gang was still trying to push us out of. I mean, we still had these guys in the suite, the suite owners. We're choked that the likes of ourselves were stuck inside of the suite. We couldn't go out to the concourse because it was too packed. And we certainly weren't going to go out to the apocalyptic bowl where people were banging on the windows to get into the suite.
I know. It felt like Final Destination. I was like, oh no, I don't like this at all. It's like amazing.
Well, and I mean, there's also children. There's a lot of children involved. The city of Edmonton does say that there were no injuries. We saw a fight, we saw the footage of fights. There was somebody on top of our suite with their shirt off, whipping it around. We didn't see it, but we saw people filming it, and then of course we saw the subsequent footage. So, I mean, it became a madhouse for approximately an hour inside a Commonwealth Stadium. It was almost like a prison, and the prisoners were all just let go inside of the facility. The crowd control was absolutely terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Do the emergency procedures maybe need to be brushed up on and maybe scrutinized? I totally believe so. But do I also think that Commonwealth Stadium as a building kept everybody safe for that scenario? Yes. Was it like a hurricane? Do I believe that a mini hurricane went through Commonwealth Stadium? Yes, I do. But am I worried if it's a tornado? Yes, I am. I think if it's a tornado, we might have seen a little bit worse, right? It would have been worse than what we dealt with.
Yeah, and once again, it's the age of the building as well, and the fact that it hasn't had any sort of renovations done for a long time, right? I mean, when you're looking at some of those stairs, they're questionable. How much strain can they take before something breaks and it becomes a bigger issue? But I do see that comment by Steve Benassi. Does Edmonton,
City
the
Council.
city of Edmonton actually have a budget for the reno this time, or is it another brilliant City of Edmonton plan with a fairy tale budget? So, in my opinion, this is kind of like a multifaceted kind of plan. And the number one priority should be safety. So
Right.
let's assume that something like this can happen again. We have multiple storms this year. Maybe this is going to be the norm going forward. Hopefully not, fingers crossed, knocking on wood. This is just a one-off summer. But let's just go with the assumption that maybe this is just going to become the norm in certain summer months. What do you do to avoid what happened during that one time? Do you include some glass paneling in those areas? Do you put more resources towards crowd control? Right? Do you make sure that there's certain safety protocols that get put into place and make that step one?
Does the council maybe focus on the safety plan instead of inspecting clear bags, looking for
illegal potato chips?
What a comment by Stephen Ashley. That's hilarious.
What's an illegal potato chip? Now I want to know. But
well, and you know what I'd like to. It's not illegal potatoes because punter is a football. Where does say money will come when Calgary replaces McMahon? I actually believe in that. I do wonder about that plan that Mark Carney had announced, the $1 billion towards facilities and whatnot, because Commonwealth Stadium is a Soccer Canada facility. It is a designated Soccer Canada facility. It is a home of Canadian men's and women's soccer teams. So, in my opinion, it's a no-brainer. Give Commonwealth Stadium a little bit of money, but for people that want to see that money used in different ways, and especially people outside of Edmonton, no, they're not going to see it that way. Also, Calgary is due for a new stadium. Commonwealth is still functional, sure, but like you said earlier, even the walls of Jericho get a fresh coat of paint. And when I looked at, I had heard the sentiment from somebody on the Elks Herd, because the Elks Herd was live tweeting and live updating on all of this. We were keeping everybody in the loop. Shout out everybody that was following along for all of that. Appreciate the engagement and support. But somebody had said that they were scared that the upper bowl was going to come down crashing on them, right? And yeah, I mean, it's a bit of an over-exaggeration. But the reality, too, is that this event has traumatized people to the point where that's what they were concerned about.
You know what? And I was talking about this with my parents yesterday that I went to see them because they were asking about the game. And I know with the weather alerts and everything, they're kind of all over the place. About a week ago, we had storm reports for the game, when the game's going to happen. Not anymore. It changes on a day-to-day. And I told them, we'll see. If it turns out that there's going to be a storm during the game, people are not going to show up because they're scared. They don't want to go through that again. They don't want to. They don't want to be part of that. We've seen it online. We've seen it in social media. People being like, "I'm not stepping into that stadium anymore."
Yeah, right? Somebody had flat out said on the Elks Herd, "I will not be going to another event at Commonwealth Stadium, and I won't be going to a football game."
Yeah.
And, I mean, they probably made that comment because they are talking on the Elks Herd. But at the same time, that is an Edmonton Elks problem at this point, is Commonwealth Stadium, whatever the heck happened over this last weekend. Now the Edmonton Elks, they might lose 1 or 2 or 10 fans or whatever. Maybe, technically, maybe there's up to 50 people that won't go back to Commonwealth Stadium strictly because of all that. And it doesn't matter the scenario. It doesn't matter the game. It doesn't even matter the weather, right?
Yeah. Well, but that's just it. After what happened over the weekend, if a storm was coming during the game, people are not going to go. And that's the opposite that we want, right? We want people to show up, especially when we're on a winning streak, especially with the way that the players are playing. But if you had a more, I'm going to call it subjectively safe stadium, then people will show up regardless. They would feel safe going to a game, even if it was storming.
Well, and I mean, the Edmonton Elks have faced attendance issues this season. Mm-hmm. This kind of does tie into our question number 2 here, but the Edmonton Elks have had issues with weather holding them back from a higher attendance, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, to start the season, I think the home opener, that was close to a thunder delay or whatever. Clark Stadium game was a thunder delay to start the game, and it absolutely soaked on everybody. Thank the Lord that the Edmonton Elks actually did operate a plan. I don't know if it was necessarily planned to a T on this, but the Edmonton Elks were able to get people into the rec center to shelter them from the rain. You can't do that. That was one of the biggest comments, one of the biggest critiques is, oh, well, how come you couldn't bring people into the rec center during the big storm, right? Well, there is a walking path internally, but that walking path to get over to the rec center is small, narrow. You wouldn't have gotten everybody into the rec center in time. The only way you would have been able to do that is if you open up the gates and make everybody walk outside, where in that scenario, death was actually outside on the doorsteps, knocking over flagpoles and knocking down trees. And could you imagine how this looks if Commonwealth Stadium did allow or did force people outside of the building? This would have been even worse. Yeah. I would like to bring up Nathan's comment here in her chat. What up, Nathan, Mr. Buyer? Part of it, I think, is also having some plans. I heard people were leaving, others were staying, which caused those wanting to leave to be stuck, unable to use the bathrooms, etc. So some of it may be updates on stuff, including planning for events like this. But my 2 cents, new building, let's go. Yeah, I mean, not a bad idea, but I do think that there's something wrong with the plan, and I think it actually has to do with the lack of speakers across the building, because even inside the suites, we weren't getting any sort of loudspeaker announcement. The loudspeaker announcements were coming from the field and the scoreboard, but all the chaos was happening out there. We couldn't hear anything, and people are screaming in the concourses, and we're talking about 30,000 plus. What happens if this is AC/DC? What happens if it's 50K plus at AC/DC? What happens when this is 20,000 more people cramming into the concourse? How is this going to look? How is this going to go? How do you prevent casualties? Right? This could get worse before it gets better. And I think now safety is becoming a factor with Commonwealth. But let's move on to something a little bit brighter here, talking about attendance, right? 30,000 did show up for Post Malone. We want 30,000 to show up at Commonwealth Stadium. So the Edmonton Elks attendance, as we know, question number 2, the Edmonton Elks attendance is on the rise with the prospect of opening the Upper Bowl this season. And not just for the CDMFA, there is another opportunity. So Elks president and CEO Chris Morris has stated that they look at opening the Upper Bowl when the Elks have 27,000 tickets sold. So the Edmonton Elks, technically, in a day or 2, are going to be looking at opening the Upper Bowl. Most likely they won't. They want to pack 30K or that 31K down in the lower bowl first before they open up the Upper Bowl. But here's the question. How many times do they open up this Upper Bowl this season? What do you think?
How many times? Let's take a look. What's the schedule looking like? Oh my goodness. I'm just looking at what's coming up. Here we have before the Labor Day. So at least once for sure. So I think once again, we've gone through this and winning will bring people. So let's say that, before the Labor Day rematch, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games and they win even a couple of those or 2 or 3 out of those, the stadium will be packed for the Labor Day rematch.
Maybe this is a better question. Do you think that the Upper Bowl is going to open up for the Labor Day rematch?
It has the possibility. It has the opportunity to do so. They can open it up for sure, 100%, and they should. Even with the team that as it is right now, it is a good team.
Because the Elks are targeting 30K this weekend.
Yep.
So they're already, and this is once again something that I had mentioned on CBC Radio with Jessica Ng and Ken Dawson earlier today was we're talking about 30K for this weekend, and we haven't talked about 30K outside of Labor Day rematch at all, except for the Stanford Ukraine game, in which you could see the Upper Bowl, it was still open and all of that. Victor Cui, right, came up with that promotion. Great promotion, support Ukraine, yada, yada, XYZ. But we haven't talked 30K since outside of the Labor Day rematch, and that was a preseason game at that point. So we haven't seen 30K at a regular season game that isn't the Labor Day rematch in a hot minute. Yeah. Nathan here in the herd chat does say, sadly, he has to work the game. I don't think he'll make it, but if we tell him it's 29,999, he's going to quit to make it happen.
We've got it in writing. We've got it in writing.
Richard, let us know what you think. Do you think that the Edmonton Elks are opening up the Upper Bowl? Looking into the future, grab your crystal ball, give it a shake. Will the Edmonton Elks be opening up the Upper Bowl more than once for the rest of the season? The CDMFA, that's an automatic. They will be opening up the Upper Bowl, but maybe we have around 30K for that game.
Yeah, I'm going to say at least once.
At least. I think for the Labor Day rematch, just like Pierre does say here, Labor Day rematch, always biggest attendance. I think that they will. I think that this is going to be it. Steve Benassi also does say, yes, they will be opening it for the Labor Day rematch. And I mean, at this point, I have zero reason to think that they won't. I think that attendance that we could be looking at, 36,000 to 40,000. I mean, the Labor Day rematch is always a big bump. Last year, the Edmonton Elks, they were still getting 20Kers, even through the brutal start to the season. They were still getting 20Kers, right? 20 to 25K. Labor Day rematch came along, ended up being a banger like it always is. 30K plus down in the lower bowl. And we're talking about a team that was scraping their way to playoff relevancy. Right now, we're talking about a contender. Yeah. Edmonton, you got to show up and make that Upper Bowl open. And I think that's the other funny part of the argument, too, is, people are still pissed off. I know of a couple trolls that, hit us often on the Elks herd. Try not to block anybody unless they're absolutely crude. But, these people who, one of these guys is a crude one, still don't block them. And he's like, what is there going to be, like 20K at the game or what? I'm like, well, are you going? Well, yeah, maybe if they open up the Upper Bowl. Well, that's an oxymoron. You can't say that you're staying away because they closed the Upper Bowl, but then you have an opportunity to help open the Upper Bowl, and you're not going to take it. No. Show up, support. Once again, tell a friend, bring a friend, all of that good stuff. But, yeah, I mean, I think that, honestly, let's say CDMFA game included, and you know what? I'm going to include home playoffs, too. I'm going to say 3 times. I'm going to say 3 times the Upper Bowl opens this season. Set the over-under at 2, right? Is it going to be over 2? Is it going to be under 2? I think it's going to be 3. I think that CDMFA game, the Labor Day rematch, and I do also think a home playoff game would open up the Upper Bowl. Still a long way to go before we get to a home playoff game, right? But what do you think, Catherine? Do you like that?
Yeah, I do.
You're down with that?
Down with that.
We do have, so Pierre does say we could do that again with this team winning in Calgary. I agree. I mean, I think that that's fair, especially if the Elks do get a Labor Day win. Alma Gill in the her chat. What up, Alma? I'm not sure, but if the lower bowl is sold out, then they would open the upper bowl. Correct. They would. They do want to see the lower bowl filled first. And, Chris Morris did have a really good chat about it today on Edmonton Sports Talk. I highly recommend go check out EST. They have all the juicy and the deets on that with Chris Morris. It was a fantastic convo. But Chris Morris did say, at 27,000, they start looking at opening up the upper bowl. And that means that this conversation has been going for quite some time. It has been going since they closed the upper bowl. The other thing that we need to remember, too, is that the loge seats are on that west side. He did say that they would actually move the loge seats from the west over to the east. And then, the CDMFA kids and whatnot for that game in particular, I think they're going to move everybody over to the west. But in general, it would be the east side opening up if they do open up the upper bowl. They would start with the east side. If that blows up, then figure out what's going on with the west. But it sounds like, it will be pretty tricky for them to open up both of the upper bowl sides, the east and the west. I think that they would most likely just open up one side, most likely the east. So, like I said, if you do want more information on that, Chris Morris did talk to Edmonton Sports Talk, and it was a great one. Candor thinking 3 games is a good estimate. Thanks, man. Let's go with 3. Thinking 3, hoping for 3, hoping for every game that the upper bowl is open, but it's going to take some more wins. For now, the Edmonton Elks are a contender, and the Elks Call has you covered like always. But unfortunately for this episode, we are at the end. I do just want to quickly answer Pierre's comment here. Do you think Nick Anderson returns this week? It's tricky because he's close. I want to say he's close on the 6th game, but he
had full participation today.
So that means that he can return for this game, right? If the Edmonton Elks have no problems waiving the implications on the 6th game, because there are implications if he comes back early, it comes off the cap, right? So, yeah, that's going to be something to keep an eye out on. St. John also in regards, what up, St. John? He does say in regards to the upper bowl opening, if we keep selling out, they won't have a choice. That is the answer. We got to keep making them sell out. But yeah, once again, everybody, we're going to close that fan forum like that. And like that, we've made it to the end of tonight's episode. What a blast. What an absolute blast. Shout out you, the viewer, listener, for tuning in tonight. Herd chat, let's give you a round of applause. You guys absolutely crushed it in the herd chat tonight. We love it. Also need to give a shout out to Elks play-by-play guy, Morley Scott. Morley Scott was an absolute treat to have on the show. We're super thankful for him joining us tonight. So yeah, really, really thrilled. Need to talk to him again for sure. All right. And if you were listening to this episode, that's going to be on TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Edmonton Sports Talk, or wherever you get your ear candy. If you were watching tonight, that's going to be at the Elks Herd on Facebook or on Shotgun Sports Network. Kathy, thank you so much for bearing with me manning all the controls.
You did good.
Thank you. I learned from the best. All right, everybody. Can't wait to see you this Saturday over at Commonwealth Stadium. Stall 182, 3 hours, 2 hours before the game. The game's at 5 o'clock, so 3 p.m. We will have some chicken Alfredo for you. Around 50 servings. That means that you have to get on down before we run out of the good stuff. But from the Elks Herd, my name is Scout, a.k.a. the rep from Section X.
And I'm Catherine. Sorry, I got distracted by the cat. No, it's our own cat. Like, oh, kitty. And I'm Catherine.
That was Catherine. I'm Scout. This was the Elks Call. We are the Elks Herd, and we can't wait to see you all at Commonwealth Stadium this Saturday for a stubble jumping showdown between the Elks and the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Have a great night, everybody.
Have a good night.
Cheers.